Hey guys, Zach Miner here for Rev3 Games, and last week I got to play a few hours of ZombiU's single-player campaign. By now you've probably seen Terra's multiplayer preview, and there's a lot to talk about in this game, but my big takeaway from my time with it was just how intriguing and different it was, and not because of the gamepad. Right off the bat, if you're expecting a Left 4 Dead or Dead Rising type zombie shooter, you're in for quite a surprise. ZombiU actually shares a lot more in common with the first few Resident Evil games than the shooters of the past couple years. Ammo is always in short supply, and if you happen to stumble across a handful of zombies, you're likely better off running away. Because once they bite you, you are dead. Or undead, actually. See, in most games, you die and you reload the checkpoint and you start to play through the level again. Not here. ZombiU has perma-undeath, so when your character has died, they join the zombie horde and you awaken as a new protagonist in the main hub area. Oh, and all of your guns and most of your items are gone, and you have to hunt down and kill your former self to get them back. In almost every video game, you're supposed to get attached to the protagonist, but you just can't here because you're going to be playing a ton of randomized different characters. The story has you awakening outside a London subway station, immediately surrounded by zombies. A disembodied voice called the Prepper directs you into the station and acts as your guide. I played 2 missions where I had to explore a supermarket, attack security cameras, and another where I had to infiltrate Buckingham Palace to grab munitions. The game is surprisingly open with large maps that are connected to the main hub area. The pace of the action is slow and methodical, and if you run into a room too fast, you're probably going to get overwhelmed and killed. You always have your trusty cricket bat to fend off zombies at close range, along with a pistol, and later on you get an assault rifle and shotgun, as well as some other weapons, but ammo is always very scarce. And while it is possible to one-shot the zombies, a headshot is rarely good enough. Sometimes a shot to the head just takes out a chunk of their skull, which is nice and gory, but it frustratingly bucks yet another video game convention. Still, that was one of the things that I really liked about the game. It feels different. It kind of feels like Dark Souls crossed with Resident Evil with maybe a dash of Shaun of the Dead thrown in for good measure. One great moment happened when I was trying to get in the supermarket through the back door, and I accidentally tripped the alarm. It was legitimately terrifying, and I was quickly overwhelmed with zombies. One thing I haven't mentioned yet is the gamepad. Most of the time, the gamepad displays the area's map, which will be dark until you hack the local area security camera network, alongside a quick access inventory. This works well enough, but some of the other utilities can be frustrating. Whenever you loot a zombie or a locker, the main screen shows your character leaning over, and you're forced to look at the gamepad to pick what you want to loot. You also have to use the gamepad to scan for zombies and items around each area. This has been shown off using the Wii U's accelerometer, but thankfully you can just use the analog sticks. Unfortunately, these segments were my least favorite part of the game. I think it's unfair to call them gimmicks, as they're effectively integrated into the game, but the action of looking away from the primary screen felt really uncomfortable. It feels like you're missing something happening in the world, such as a zombie sneaking up on you. This might add to the tension of the game, but I just found it frustrating and awkward. Now, that's me having played just a couple hours of the game. It's very possible that you get acclimated to it once you get deeper in the campaign. But sadly, I felt like it detracted from a game that I found to be otherwise very interesting. I want to play more of ZombiU because of how unique it is, but I'd rather play it with a traditional control scheme. At least that's how I'm feeling right now. We're going to have a ton more on ZombiU as we get closer to launch, but after getting a little taste, I'm more curious than ever. If you guys have any more questions about the game, leave them in the comments below, and make sure you're subscribed right here on Rev3 Games for more coverage. I'm Zach Miner, and I'll see you next time.